Today I'm going to make two videos because I'm going to make two different dishes for dinner. The first one is going to be a Feta, kale and pear salad. And the other thing is going to be a frittata, and I will talk about that a little later. But first, the salad. So here's what goes in the salad. First of all, obviously, kale. Kale goes in the salad, but I'm going to need 10 cups of this, which should be about 2 bunches. So it's a lot. We'll have leftovers, but that's okay. Then I'm going to have, pepitas, which they are from a certain kind of pumpkin, but not just any old kind of pumpkin. So I used to think that pepita and pumpkin seeds, same thing. But I just learned that these are just from a particular kind of pumpkin. Anyway, we need pepitas. We also need sunflower seeds. These are roasted, and it would be better if they were plain, but I don't have plain, so I'll use those. And sesame seeds. I ran out of the Korean type, and so these will be fine. These will be fine. You just usually get a better deal if you go to a Korean market and you get their, they're already toasted sesame seeds, no salt. Let's see what else. So I'm gonna need some olive oil, and I'm gonna use just plain olive oil for this. And let's see, I need some kosher salt, and some plain Greek yogurt. The recipe, which comes from eatingwell.com, the recipe calls for whole milk plain Greek yogurt. I'm going to use 2% because that's what I have. And I rarely get, if I get whole milk yogurt, it's going to be those delicious brown cow ones. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a brand that is really the best I've ever had, and it's whole milk, but it's fat. Okay, then I'm going to need some tahini. Okay, and okay, so this recipe calls for cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and I do have some. I have a jug of it, but I felt like doing something a little bit better. So you can use apple cider vinegar, no problem. That's what's in the recipe. But I happen to have this Sparrow Lane. You know, I've talked a lot about 41 Olive, and I love their products. But there's this small place up near where you were living, Anna, in Santa Rosa, Sparrow Lane, and I have this Danju pear vinegar, and I thought, well, since this has pear in it, this will be a good choice. I never know what to use this for, but it smells outrageous in a good way. Anyway, there's that, and then I'm going to need some lemon juice, and I have this little thing. You know, we have a lemon tree that is giving us way too many lemons, which is a good problem to have. So I've been pouring various amounts in containers and freezing them so that, you know, when the lemons are gone, we'll have plenty of lemon juice in the freezer. Anyway, I have some lemon juice. All right, next, the kale and a pear, and any kind will do. This is what I was able to get. And, some red onion, just 1/4 cup. Some fresh mint. You know, we have a neighbor who used to have fresh mint growing, and it would just creep under the fence. And that's what I used to do. I used to go out and just pick leaves off of the neighbor's mint plant, but I haven't seen any lately, so I had to buy some. It's not so awful. And the last thing is some crumbled feta. I mean, you can buy it not crumbled, but at Trader Joe's, it seems like it's the same price, I think, whether it's crumbled or not. So anyway, crumbled feta, and that's it. Now, I'll tell you what's going to be in the frittata when I start making that. So for now, let's get started with this salad. We're going to start off by preheating the oven to 325. So 325. Okay, and now we've got to get these seeds, are they all seeds? They're all seeds, ready to toast in the oven. So here we go. I already measured this. This is a 1/4 cup of pepitas. So I just put them on a sheet. And I'm going to need a 1/4 cup of each one of these. So 1/4 cup of sesame seeds. Should have already had that open. That is going to take most of this container. Half. Okay. And a 1/4 cup of this, and I can see that I'm going to need my scissors. So, scissors are wonderful in the kitchen. Okay, there we go. 1/4 cup of each. I'll just spread it around. And then I'm just going to put it over on the stove and wait for the oven to get hot. I'm waiting for the oven to get hot. It's almost there, but in the meantime, I have some other things I need to do. So let's get started. So I have this large bowl. And I'm going to start off by putting together the dressing. There. So we want a 1/4 cup of, I'll tell you in a minute. Let's put this in the oven. We're gonna bake it for 10 minutes. But after 5 minutes, I'm going to stir it. So I'll set the timer for 5 minutes. Okay, back over here. As I was saying, I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of the Greek yogurt in a large bowl. And this is the largest bowl I have. So, 1/4 cup of yogurt. And I have about a tablespoon left. This is some leftover yogurt. So I'm thinking I'll put that in the frittata. Okay. Okay. Next, I need some tahini. And I was supposed to use this for the tahini, I think. No, wrong. 2 tablespoons of tahini. So you might need to stir your tahini. It likes to separate. Anyway, 2 tablespoons. So there's one. Skip that stuff on the back. There's 2. All right. Next, water. I need 1 tablespoon of water, and I have that right here. Tablespoon of water. And then vinegar. So I need 1½ teaspoons of vinegar, which is 3/4 of a tablespoon. So I'm just going to eyeball it. If I get a little more of this, Oh, that smells so good. I always wish I could just let you smell. Here, smell. Mmm. Yeah. So about 3/4 of a tablespoon of this stuff. And I'm okay with having a little extra because it's delicious. I'm talking about this pear vinegar. Okay. Then I want some lemon juice, and this is going to be 1 teaspoon. So I'll just use this one that I used for the yogurt. There's a teaspoon of lemon juice. And a little bit of salt. Like 1/8 of a teaspoonful of salt. And I'm gonna eyeball this one too. So I know this spoon is about half a teaspoon, so I'm just gonna go like a little bit. 1/8 really isn't much. Okay. Let's mix that up. Seems weird not to be putting pepper in it. And this is really thick. Interesting. All right, let's taste it. Oh, that's interesting. All right. The tahini tastes almost like peanut butter. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside because I need to clean my kale. The timer just went off, so it's time for me to stir up my seeds. So, get it out. Right, and then I'm going to give it another 5 minutes, and that should do. Okay, over here I got a ton of kale. So I've decided what I'm going to do. Instead of washing it first, I've got this other large bowl. I'm going to tear the kale off the stem, because the stem, remember, is too tough. So I'm going to tear this off, put it in the bowl, and rinse it. And I think what I'll do is, when I get to this point, I'll just kind of tear it in half. I'll cut it up more after I wash it. So that's what I'm going to do with all this. Okay, I'm down to the last one. I thought I'll show you in case you don't remember how to do kale. So there's leaves that are kind of up here on the hard part of the stem. You want to pick those off and then just kind of pinch it like this until you get down to, the bottom part. This is a larger leaf than I showed you before. So this part, cutting it in half, really doesn't matter. Okay, so now this kale looks to be pretty clean. Sometimes you get kale, especially organic kale, and it's just got a ton of bugs in it, and that's really gross. And so you want to look very carefully at your kale when you're cleaning it. And look at your water after you've cleaned out, if you do it this way. Normally I do it like this, but it kind of wastes a lot of water. But you know you're getting it clean that way. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off and go take care of the seeds. Turn that off, turn that off, and let's get these seeds out. All right. And I have a little bowl that's been waiting for this. So let's do this. I'm gonna put this in my little bowl. Hopefully I won't make a mess over the stove. These little sesame seeds want to stick to the pan. So I think I'll come back when I don't have the camera going and get the rest of those out. But what I want to do now is add the oil, and I believe it's just a tablespoon of oil. It actually calls for 1.5 teaspoons of oil, and since the pepitas had a little bit of oil on them, I'm just going to use 1 teaspoon. I'm going to put that in, stir it up, and then I'm going to set it aside to cool for 10 or 15 minutes. Back to the kale. I decided I'm going to use my salad spinner because it's a really handy way to, you know, get rid of the excess water. So I will need to cut these up more, but I'm going to just put them over here. And if my water looks particularly dirty, I'll wash it again with another bowl of water. We'll see. And it looks pretty clean to me, so I'm just going to go with this. Okay. If you don't have one of these, you might want to put it on your Santa list, because these are really handy. I'm talking about the salad spinner. Here. This is a packed salad spinner. Just move it over a little bit. I usually don't have 10 cups of any kind of greens, so we just do this. Get it going. And there you go. So now I'm going to take that, I'm going to chop it up, put it in the big bowl. So you could just tear it. I could just tear it, but I think it's going to be more efficient to cut it. So I'll just get a bunch of it. If it's a little piece like that, throw that in. Just get a stack of kale. And then just cut it, you know, however big you like it. Wow, I'm shooting little bits all over the place. And since that was kind of hard, I'm just going to throw that out. So we're going to do this with all of this kale, and then I'll show you what's next. I've got all 10 cups or 2 bunches of kale chopped, as you can see. And it's on top of that dressing. So what we need to do now is massage the dressing into the kale. The first time I saw that in a recipe, I thought, that's really weird. How are you going to massage the dressing? I think I will start off with a stir. But after a while, massaging is perfect. So this just kind of brings some of it up to the top. And I'm making a mess. Okay, I think it's massage time now. Just try to get it evenly distributed. See, it works pretty well. If you can keep it in the bowl. You might want to halve this recipe, unless you have company. This is going to be quite a lot. Okay. And now, I gotta wash my hands. Salad. Okay, I'm gonna cut up my pear now in thin slices and add it to my salad. So cut it in half, and then in half. Cut away the tough part and the core. Okay. And then just slice it. And then do that with the rest of this pear. I got to cut off this bad spot. It happens. There you go. Okay, now I need a quarter of a red onion. This one isn't huge, so that'll work fine. Oh yeah, so let's cut off the stem and the root. Again, and that's going to be my quarter of a red onion. So I need to thinly slice this, and since I left the root core intact, it's going to hold everything together, make it easier for me to slice. Get those out of the way. Cut these as thinly as possible because I don't like a big mouthful of raw onion. I've washed and towel dried about a half cup of mint. And now I'm gonna pull these leaves off and I'm gonna chop them. Okay, so I'm gonna do this like I do basil. Stack the leaves. Okay, let's just slice, forget about the roll. And now we need to toss it. Okay, I'm tossing those things in here. And of course my pear is sticking to itself. So we're going to serve this with the crumbled feta on top, and if you want some whole mint leaves, you can put those on top also. Otherwise, there's your salad. Okay, final thing, we're going to put some of the seeds on top. And like I said, you can put mint if you want. I'm not going to because we're not big mint fans. And some feta cheese. And there you have it.